sounds, like those exact sounds.
Sure. I remember those two sounds.
Yeah.
I do. It's just riveting listening.
Yeah, it is.
Pleasant.
Okay, so this week we are going to talk about Mother, with an exclamation point, and Valerian.
And the city of
I don't know.
1,000 planets?
I did. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what it's called?
I don't fucking know.
So one movie that came out ages ago, one movie that's just come out.
Yeah.
Right before another movie just came out.
I kind of made Ren watch Valerian because...
And I kind of made Linda watch Mother.
Yeah, so... I think you can turn the gain down.
Turn the gain down?
Yes.
The gain?
The gain.
The mad gains?
Yes.
You still?
Hello.
So, no? Is it?
Down more. You're turning it up. No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
No, that's fine. This is fine.
Okay,
this is good.
fine. It's good.
Yeah. To be fair, I actually wasn't going to watch Mother at all. Like, it doesn't matter how much Ren was like, we're going to go see it. I was like, no. Until a colleague of mine was talking to me about it, and I was like, I'm really not good with scary, because it has come out as well, and I haven't seen it, because I just blatantly refuse to do so, because I'm a piece of shit.
Yes.
Can you not? So, but, like, she was like, no, like, if you like Requiem for a Dream, if you liked Black Swan, then you definitely like this. And Black Swan was the same. I didn't want to watch it, but then I found out it was by the same director who did Requiem for a Dream. So then that's why I watched Black Swan. And then they're like, no, if you like it, then you're like, you're like Mother. And then they're like, it's not the type of scary that you think. It's not going to be, like, jump scares or, like...
jump scares.
No.
It's the sort that stays with you for months. And... it makes you feel bad.
Yeah, it's like this is not quite horror, but it ain't like...
No, it's not. It's actually no. It's really horror.
Actually, no.
That's
yeah,
what I would say. It's more horror than
but it's not the
something like It.
It's not the generic type of horror, where it's like, oh, it's scary. Someone's calling.
I haven't seen It.
Is that your mum ringing you?
Anyway.
Oh wow.
Where were we? No, so It's come out.
I'm still not going to go see it. Sorry, Ren.
I don't know whether I'll get a chance to see it either. Like, I'm not that interested. Like, I'd probably go and see it, maybe. But I'm not that... I mean, I'm not a...
Go see it, like, when it's at the very end of its, like, shelf life, and then you'll be able to see it, like, super cheap and stuff.
And nobody will be in the cinema.
Yeah, nobody in there. Which will make it even scarier. There we go.
I mean, it's... Well, Stephen King's pretty good, but I'm not that interested in it. And...
I mean...
Everyone
one of
knows
those
what
like, happens.
Everybody knows. Yeah, everybody knows what it is and what happens. Slightly different setting in this one is it's set in the 80s, whereas the original set in the 50s with the kids, and then it fast forwards to the 80s when they're adults, which isn't in this film because it'll be set current day, I assume.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a part 2, which will be the conclusion.
Oh, so it's not finished?
Well, the TV movie's 2 parts as well.
Oh.
Which is the one with Tim Curry in it as Pennywise. But, yeah, that's a more like there's monsters and there's a monster and it's haunting the town and the kids have got to sort out what's happening.
To me, like, it just seems like...
It's one of the big factors behind Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And then Stranger Things is popular and then they make It, which feels like... And one of the kids from Stranger Things is in it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, it just seems like... I mean...
Stranger Things is better,
yeah, well,
I reckon.
My throat is so sore. I was going to say it's a copy. It feels like a copy of Stranger Things, but then technically that's not true because it came out before Stranger Things, so it only...
Yeah.
So it's like, technically it's like... But,
Stranger Things is aping off a lot of stuff, but it's good. Really good.
Yeah. Anyways.
I think it's better than It. But anyway.
Mother. So we should
talk about Valerian first
because that was the first one we saw, and that's kind of like the shitty end of the spectrum.
It's the shitty one.
I mean, it's not as bad as what it could be.
It's all right on a technical level, but that's really it. So it's
very pretty.
I'm having a lot of trouble remembering what the plot was.
Oh, well.
You got Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne there.
Yeah, no. So there's Valerian and who's the girl?
I haven't got a clue. Laureline? Something.
Fuck. There's a guy and the girl.
Yep.
Valerian and Valeria. Just remember. There's Valerian and
Juliet.
Yeah. Okay, there's Valerian and Juliet. Let's call them that.
Yep.
And
their super awesome agent things.
Yeah. No, and then there's like the thousand cities.
Oh yeah, it starts off with a crappy
Yeah.
montage. Maybe
Yeah.
starts off with a crappy montage to David Bowie's Space Oddity, which is the most cliched thing you can do.
Uh-huh.
And it's all of these space stations getting put together. And first it's all the different nations of Earth, and they're all shaking hands and getting along. And I immediately went, huh, bullshit. And then aliens turn up with their own, and then they connect, and they handshake, and then some of them don't, some of them bow.
Yeah. So
then,
pretty much what happens is like it's kind of like broken up. The first section's like them rescuing this little animal.
yes.
Oh no, Valerian has a vision of this planet with all these weird
there's a planet
creatures.
with all these avatar people. on
Yeah,
it,
they're
and
literally avatar
they
people.
seem a lot like Banavi.
Yeah, and then turns out it's like a flashback or something. Anyway, Valerian like wakes up and's all like, "What the fuck?" Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
there's
blah.
a whole sequence where there's just like this princess on this planet, and they're like kind of tribal, and they make pearls out of these. They put a pearl into this like little creature, and then it shakes,
And it multiplies?
A lot of pearls come out.
Yeah, so then they go to rescue this creature from this black market or this marketplace.
Yeah, which is in another dimension, which you access from a planet which is like pretty much deserted
Yeah,
through like goggles and weird things, and that's how you go
we're
shopping.
we're ruining the film, right?
Are we? Because I don't really understand it myself. Like I was going, I don't understand
think-
why this market is like this. Like why not
I
just
don't
go
know,
into
just
the
because
other
it's
dimension?
complicated. It's complicated. It derived from a
They
visual
thought it
novel.
was a cool, like I think they thought it was a cool set piece, and then it just didn't add anything. It was just annoying.
Anyway, so
But-
like, there's like
They go there because they've got to retrieve this little creature
Yeah.
that can multiply these.
So they
things.
retrieve the creature, and then they go back to the Thousand City
Thousand
place.
City Planet satellite thing.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, there's a
Yeah.
radioactive section that we can't reach inside of
Yep.
the city,
The city
the
thing.
planet, the space planet. And then
I love how they said it was a city of 1,000 planets, and then it's like, how many people live here? 30 million. I was like,
there's
that's
about,
not that many.
I mean, there's only like a specific amount of people per planet.
What, but
as
on
a
1,000 planets, there's only 30 million people.
That's like 3,000.
There's like 7 billion on Earth.
I literally don't know what you want from me right now.
I know, but I was going, is that a lot? Is that supposed to be a lot? I don't know.
Maybe it is for little kids.
Yeah. that
Anyway.
is.
So then these like the Avatar people come in and like not shoot everyone. They like put
They put everybody into goo.
goo and they pass out.
Put them to sleep.
Yeah, and
they
then
take the-
Valerian
Did they
like
take the creature then?
they take the commanding officer or general or
Yeah,
someone.
Clive Owen. I
Yeah,
can't remember the last time I saw him in a movie, but it's good to see him back.
yeah. Is it really though? In this?
Yeah, well, I like him. I think the movie's shit.
Anyway, so then they take him away because they think he has the creature. When in reality, like Kara, I'm just gonna go Kara. Kara has the creature.
Which,
And then Laureline has the creature, and then
Mm-hmm.
so then Valerian goes to chase after them, and then he ends up in the radioactive zone, but it's not really radioactive. And then pretty much Laureline like goes to save him, and she puts on like a jellyfish hat, and
there's about a good hour of this film where they're just chasing each other.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
one of
and
them
then-
chases the other one, and then the other one gets lost, so they chase.
yeah, no, so they find each other for like maybe 2 minutes, and then she gets like strewn off somewhere, and then he chases after her, and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, so what? And then there's
Oh, and then no, but not before he gets pulled into a room to watch Rihanna
Rihanna
dance for a
dance.
little while
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke puts on a terrible accent and plays
Yeah.
a piano that apparently can play an entire orchestra worth of instruments.
can be a
And there's
dodecahedron.
nobody else in the room.
Yeah, that's strip
Apparently,
clubs.
there's nobody else in.
Yeah, that's
apparently,
strip
there's
clubs.
nobody
No
on
one-
this planet where there's people everywhere.
Yeah, that's how strip clubs work, Ren. Jeez. No, I'm being sarcastic.
It's just.
Yeah.
so
No, but
dumb.
like it's funny because you can blatantly tell how much money they had left to spend on to pay Rihanna to do this
Yeah.
part. And like not to ruin the film, but she's there for a bit. She has like 2 lines of dialogue here and there.
She has 2 lines of dialogue with her on screen. The rest
Yeah.
of her dialogue is done. She's not on screen, but
She's
she's supposed to
animated.
be this other animated blob creature.
Yeah,
that
she's
can
supposed to
turn
because
into
she's an
things.
alien that can turn into anything.
Basically meant that they just had to pay her for like
Yeah.
a day of talking
Yeah.
instead of several days of shooting.
Yeah, and then she dies.
then
Literally,
she dies.
It's like Valerian finds Laureline. Oh, okay, no, we don't need her anymore. She's dead. We can't pay for her for any longer. Not
remember-
another scene, guys.
I
She's
remember
limited to like 12
sitting in the
scenes.
cinema after she does her like dance piece, and she walks up to Dane DeHaan, and I leant over to him and went, "Oh no, they gave her lines."
Yeah,
just before she started talking.
like, I mean, Rihanna. I love Rihanna. Can I just say, as a singer, I know not everyone loves her. But as an artist, I really enjoy her, and like I enjoy her music. It's not always like intelligent. You know how like some artists put out really good stuff,
Pop music.
but she puts out pop music. But I enjoy it, and I like Rihanna. And but I just, part of me is like, don't quit your day job because you are not good at acting.
No.
And it was really, I don't know if it's because I've just seen her in, like, I don't know if it's because I've seen her naked, like not like naked, but you know, she like showed up to like a few events, like, you know, in like a sheer mesh top
barely
and stuff.
anything, yeah.
I don't know if it's that or what it is, or the fact that I've only ever seen her singing, but seeing her just talk like a regular human.
It's like when...
to hearing her talk like a mortal, like me.
It's like when
it's quite jarring.
It's like when Madonna turns up in Die Another Day.
Yeah.
You're going, why did they do this?
Yeah,
Why? Because she sang the song. Nobody else needed to be in the
It's
movie.
like if Adele was in like Skyfall or something.
Yeah, that
like,
would be
why?
stupid. Like they cast her as Moneypenny. I'd be going, what the fuck are you doing? Then the next one they cast Sam Smith as Moneypenny.
Yeah.
For Spectre. Anyway.
Don't.
I can't remember the exact circumstance. The problem with this film is everything takes too long.
That's like, well, that's a complaint you have about like manga and anime.
No, but this is like, it's a film, and they could have just trimmed things and made it more fun and interesting. And all the stuff that they hold on to, it just sucks. It's boring, and the characters are crap.
I think the characters are crap. I don't think
Dane DeHaan I hated in this movie. I hated him so much.
I hated the chemistry between them.
They had no chemistry at all.
Well, that's the thing. I hated like whatever they had.
He was such a douchebag.
It just made it really, to me, his personality was very like up himself in a way, and then her personality.
But apparently he loves her a lot and he wants to marry her.
But the thing is, her personality is very cold and calculating, or she's trying to be cold, and it just doesn't work in any way. Like, I think I understood the idea of it.
You know what the problem was?
Well,
in the trailer, for some reason, I thought they were brother and sister. And
part of me
I
did
had
get
that thought in the first 5 minutes of the film when they're on screen together, and I went, "What?" Because they're on the beach together in like swimwear and stuff, and he's like trying to come on to her, and you're like, I was like, "Are they what?" And then I went, "Oh, they're not related."
That's the thing, though. Like I did get a bit of that vibe, but then I knew like, from the type of film it was, and from the type, like, when you cast someone like her, like, who's incredible, you don't cast them as brother and sister, you just don't. So I got the feeling of sibling kind of, and then I'm like, no way in hell would they just waste that. And like in most visual novels, from my experience, there's always got to be some kind of romantic link, whether it be very minor.
No, but I just assume there'd be other characters that they get involved with.
Nah, that's not a thing.
Okay. That's...
that wouldn't make the visual novel. No, that would make the movie good.
Probably.
Yeah.
It would help. It'd give them something to do.
Yeah, but like, can I just say, like, what's the guy's name again?
Dane DeHaan.
Yeah. He just, like, I understood they were both supposed to be agents, but both of them just, like, to me, they seem like a bunch of teenagers just running around.
Pretty much. They seem like two teenagers.
And he doesn't seem like, if you watch James, I know James Bond is nowhere near the same comparison, but like, they're like, they seem to know what they're doing.
I was saying to you, I was like, it seems like there's a lot of demand for Chris Pratt and he can only do so many movies.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
It just seemed like, anyways, like.
Anyway, it's flopped terribly.
Yeah.
This movie.
Yeah. It's visually actually very nicely done, like the animation and all the
technical
CGI
level stuff is quite good.
It's quite beautiful. Like
there's a couple of cool scenes, like when he like runs through most of the Thousand Planets place and he goes through different environments and stuff. That's pretty well done, but then it ends and you're like, oh, we're back to this again.
Yeah. I can't remember how.
I forgot all about that little monster for a while.
The ending. Oh no, I remembered.
I forgot the whole reason that they were doing anything because they made so little reference to it for such a long time.
I remembered, but I'm like, that's me though. I just remember. I tend to be the type of person who's like, I'm gonna try and find all the little things and just make sure they So, which is why you remember when we were watching. I know Transformers is like way too long ago, but remember when we were talking about that sword and all the like the little shield thing and all that. When people don't tie up loose ends like that, it pisses me off. Mm-hmm. So, which is why, like with the little monster, I'm like, are they going to bring it up again? Because if they don't bring this up again, I'm going to be very annoyed. I'm going to be very.
Did they? I can't remember.
No, because they gave it to the peoples, and then she was like, Laura Lane was angry at Valerian because of, he didn't want to give them the monster and then it was like, oh shit, that's my phone.
It didn't take him very long to turn.
Well, I think it was just like, guys, can we just wrap this film up now? Can we get this done? It's
very disappointing coming from Luc Besson, this movie. Although he hasn't really been good for a while. He hasn't really made anything that's like really worth watching for a long time. I mean, my favourite film of his is Leon the Professional, which was great. Yes. What's wrong? What are you doing?
Is that a Gryffindor towel?
It's a Hogwarts towel.
God, where'd you get the Hogwarts towel? Sorry.
I don't know, actually.
Oh.
But yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the movie. It's supposed to be, a fun adventure romp, and it's just dull.
I think it's good for kids. If you're a child, like if you're like 8 years old or 9 years old watching this, you would love this. Honestly, it's just. But I firmly believe that like kids' films should be enjoyed for adults too. Like, I mean,
but I'm sure they wouldn't be as entertained by this.
Yeah,
as they would be like.
Yeah, but it'd still be like. I mean, my dad when I went to watch Harry Potter, my dad loved Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. And, like, I think to a certain point, like, Disney films can be quite enjoying for adults as well. Because, like, I think they put in, like, rude jokes and stuff sometimes.
Oh, they definitely didn't like Pixar movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my dad always used to mention the one, because I never got it when I was a little kid, of, well, Woody's talking at the start of Toy Story, and he's doing the speech, and then Mr. Potato Head turns to everybody, pulls his mouth off.
Oh, yeah.
And just starts, like, pressing it against his ass. Basically saying Woody's an ass kisser.
There's another one where someone grabs like in the third one where they get like they go to the kindergarten / childcare place, and then someone like grabs Mrs. Potato Head's like mouth, and then Mr. Potato Head's like, oh, oi, I'm the only one who can take my wife's mouth.
Yeah.
So it's quite like I didn't. Actually, no, I understood it. By the time I'm like, surely that was just like...
Surely that's not the disgusting joke that they're trying to make.
Yeah, but it is.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah. So, like, I think it's a film, if you're a kid, you enjoy it, but if you're a parent watching it, you'd literally just die. Oh, fuck. It's like...
End already.
Can I say something, actually, speaking of parents watching films, I caught my dad watching WALL-E one night.
WALL-E's great.
I know, amazing, right? But I just remember walking past, because what our old house was like main living room, and then the kitchen was right behind it. Mm-hmm. So I was walking into the kitchen once to grab some water, and I see my dad watching WALL-E, and then I just hear, like, my dad's watching it on his own in the dark as well, like, poor thing. But he's like, wow. Because it's that scene where Eve and him are, like, going through space, and he's got the
fire hydrant.
Yeah. He's like, amazing. That's spectacular. He was, like, loving it. So I think it's bullshit if a parent can't enjoy it.
That movie's really good because there's no dialogue for most of it.
I know.
It's great.
But he loved it. So I'm just thinking, like, for someone to be like, oh, it's for kids. And I'm like, yeah, but I watch kids' films all the time. Like, I love kids' films. And, I did not enjoy this film. I mean, I didn't hate it. But, like, I know we talked about, like, Logan Lucky and those types of films kind of being very average, but averagely good. This was on, like, the averagely bad side of things. Yeah, there was just nothing... There was nothing good about it.
It's slightly more worse than there is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, if it falls on the 50-50 spectrum, it'd be like 49.
And it's not like so bad it's good.
Yeah.
It's just bland, so you can't even like laugh at it.
Yeah.
It's just dull and shitty.
Yeah.
And makes me want to go to sleep.
Man, what's that film about the room that's coming out?
The Disaster Artist.
Disaster. We're going to go see that. That looks very good.
I can't wait for that. It comes out in December, I think. But that looks great. I usually hate James Franco, or like I'm not a fan of his, but watching that trailer, I'm like, I know the Academy won't even consider this movie, but he looks like he does a fantastic job as Tommy Wiseau.
Because we watched some of the trailer and it's so funny already.
But he's really good.
Yeah.
He like looks like him. He sounds like him. It's crazy.
Does that say something about him, or?
Oh yeah, he's a weirdo. But anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on to Mother.
To the much better, in my opinion. Better movie. I'm gonna say this is one of the better movies I've seen this year, in my opinion. Before
you, I know you were you probably might have gone. You might have said this. I can't talk today. But I read up some of the reviews, and I think a lot of the critics, maybe not a lot, but like a critic was saying how like for the mainstream audience, this wouldn't have been a good film because it would have been
a really divisive movie.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been.
Some people are really offended by it.
Why?
Well, I'll go over why, but it's...
Well, in my head, I don't find anything in films offensive because in my head, the film obviously was made to shock or made to...
this film definitely was as well,
or made to pull a response. So I'm like, anything that you're offended by, it's like, obviously the director intended, so you shouldn't really be offended by it.
So it's pretty... It's got some confronting things in it, and it's not like, oh, there's a scary clown.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is messed up.
Can I just say, I enjoyed the last part. I say enjoying quotation marks, the last part of film way more because the thing that actually scares me is like that there was a lot of like not silence, but like there wasn't a lot of dialogue at the very beginning, and it was a lot of still kind of in the calm before the storm kind of scenes. Yeah. There was a lot of that, so there was a good part of the film. I'm not sure if you saw, but I was on my phone just being like, I can't.
Linda was covering her face or looking away from the screen for quite a lot of this
movie. When it got to the end of it, I was like just watching because once it's happening, it's like, oh yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the actual happening. It's just like the build up to it. I was just like, I don't want anything scary to jump out at me, which is why I got.
But it doesn't really.
No, nothing jumps out at you.
Because it's not a horror movie in the sense of, oh, we've got to put jump scares in this or something like that. It's just scary.
This is like the type of horror that like is genuinely scary, like stuff that
uses the word horror properly because you look on and you're horrified.
Yeah, you're horrified. It's not the type of I'm like shocked for a second and then it's
it's gone. Oh, the clown's gone.
It's not the scare. I think it's like not the scary way. I think a lot of horror films these days play upon like.
You know what it is like. Most
fear.
horror movies, I think, are comfortable, and what I mean by that is like while you're in the cinema, you're creeped out by it. When you leave, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
This is like you're going. Like, you're watching it going, oh, what the hell is going on? And then you leave about it, thinking about it for several weeks.
I think this is the type of horror film. I know we keep talking about, like, the type of horror it is, but it really, I think that it should be put that it's the horror film that's not the horror film that people normally see. Because in my head, it's like, this is the type of horror film that doesn't play on my irrational fears. It plays on my literal fears.
Yeah, the irrational stuff.
So, because, like, people are scared of clowns and they'll be scared of ghosts or demons or, whatever it is. Like, you see in, like, The Grudge, The Exorcist. But then, like, this film plays upon, like, I don't want to ruin it, but of course we're going to ruin it. But, like, a lot... I know this sounds bizarre, but there's a lot of scenes where there's no real names. There's the mother, who's Jennifer Lawrence, and then him, who's Javier
Bardem.
Yeah, and the guy pretty much just keeps inviting strangers into her house, and she keeps asking him to let them.
None of them are very well behaved.
Yeah, and then she keeps asking him, "Can you ask them to leave?" And he keeps saying no, and she has this complete sense of powerlessness. Like she doesn't have any power. People won't listen to her. They keep doing things, and that's like my worst fear. I know that makes me sound crazy, but something I'm really terrified about is like people coming into my home, and not leaving when I ask them to leave, and having that lack of power, and having people hurt me and me not be able to do anything about it. Like that's pretty terrifying. I think that's pretty terrifying for anyone. Having strangers come into your home and not going, and having the person who's technically supposed to be your partner or your husband or your wife or whoever it is saying, oh no, it'll be fine, and you begging them. Like it gets to a point where she's begging, please, please, please let them leave. I want to be alone with you. I want to be. And he just doesn't listen to her either. And I think that is like the most terrifying thing you can put in a film, or you could, that one of the most terrifying things you can put in a film. So I'm watching this like at the end, just being like, I'm so stressed out. I am so fucking stressed out. I can't right now.
So it starts off. It's funny. The trailer's really good because it really doesn't tell you anything. It just gives you a sense of it's very calm, and then it gets really fucked up, and that's it. And that's all you need to know. And it's like people turn up, and there's something not quite right.
That's
So-
Requiem for a Dream, though. Like, everything's okay until it's not okay.
Requiem for a Dream, it's like there's a building sort of speed to it. It's like starts off slow and then you feel it like picking up the pace and then it keeps
And then
going
it just
and keeps going.
at one
and
point
keeps
you're just
going
like,
and
what? How the fuck did I end
And then
up
there's
here?
like a 10-minute sequence at the end, which it's just overwhelming.
Well, that's what it was. Except the 10-minute sequence in Mother is stretched out to like
Half an
literally
hour.
30 minutes
Yeah.
of just fuck. No. But this is like the type of horror I want to see. Not that I enjoy being horrified, but it's just like this is the type of
You
horror.
want it to be good.
I just made like a really weird noise with my throat.
That's nice.
Thanks, sorry. But this is what I want to see in horror films, because if horror films were all like this, I'd go watch them all the time. I'd really, once again, I say enjoyed, quotation marks, but like, it's the type of horror that scares me, but at the same time I can watch and receive it. Whereas with jump scares, I just like, my body just goes into like shock, and I'm just like, great, now I can't enjoy the rest of the fucking horror film.
Well, it's also the fact that it's not very scary when that happens. And lots of the time in those movies, because they're just like, oh, we haven't had a jump scare in a while, and then it's just like somebody's walking around, they drop all the sound out, and then somebody who's not a threat at all just pops out and goes, oh, hey, and then it's like, ah!
Yeah.
Like, oh.
But I don't know why.
It's just annoying, because it's not real. It's not fear, it's just, oh, we turned the music on.
I think I'm just frustrated with those scenes because it doesn't actually, like you said, it doesn't actually scare
It's not
me.
scary. No.
It just, am I talking too loud? Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just doing.
Your
fine.
ear just sore.
It's just warm.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't scare me, but then obviously my body has like that rush.
Yeah, you have the reaction.
Yeah, and then it pisses me off because I'm like, I feel like, this is not what I want. And like,
Well, it's funny because there's a couple of moments that sort of give you a jolt in this, but they're not like
jump
it's
scares.
not like they crank the music all of a sudden. It's
No.
just like something just goes.
I think
you
the
go,
the scene that kind of made me jump the most was that scene where like she bends over and then the older brother is right behind her, and you're like, oh, but it's kind of
but
like
there's no sound or anything. It's
No.
just he's just standing there, and
But
you
there's not much of a soundtrack, is there? There's a lot of and then like there's a lot of and the way the film shows like a lot of close-ups of Jennifer Lawrence. Her skin is so smooth, by the way. I just say, like, that's the one thing I picked out. Her face and everything, and her acting is like A+.
Yeah, I usually don't like her very much, but I thought she was good
she's
in this.
amazing.
Apparently, I read she tore her diaphragm doing this movie because she like the screaming and the what sort of stuff. She like bruised one of her ribs or something as well. Yeah,
it was like but like her acting was so good. Like she really
everybody was good in it though. Actually,
yeah, everyone was very like.
There's no weak links. Michelle Pfeiffer's really good.
Michelle Pfeiffer's amazing. I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
Ed Harris is good. But I suppose we'd actually talk about like the plot and the actual. There's the plot, and then that's what it means. And there is the film sort of starts odd. It automatically gives you a clue at the start, but you don't know what it means, and you won't know what it means until the end, because it's the first thing you see is a woman's face, pretty much on fire, and she's crying, and then it fades into Javier Bardem with a crystal in his hand, putting on this little altar, and then the house just sort of
regenerates.
It just goes from being like horrible to nice.
Well, you can tell like there's been a fire in the house,
yeah, you
but
can
then
tell that there's something wrong.
I thought the beginning of that was like, it wasn't literal. I mean, obviously the film itself is not literal, but I thought the beginning was
supposed to be a symbolic thing that started the film off.
Yeah, and it wasn't supposed to be something that actually happened. Yeah,
really.
But then you find out like the whole film is a symbolic thing. So
Yeah.
everything, like there were parts where I thought, in some films where it's like kind of split into like reality versus fantasy, I thought it was split between those. So parts of the film was like, oh, stuff that's literally happening, and other parts was stuff that was happening in her head. At one point I was like, I bet the guy's having gay sex or something. Like literally, like, because obviously a man comes in, and I'm like, and then they kind of walk out and they go for walks, and they're really friendly all like really quickly, and I'm like, oh my god, they're having gay sex. And they got to
in
kill
the woods.
Well, I thought it was stuff like her husband and stuff. Like I said, I didn't know anything about the symbolic kind of nature of the film, so I thought it was all literally happening. So I thought, oh my god, what happens if like those guys are sleeping together and they're going to plan on killing her, and she's pregnant, and I was saying all this stuff to her, and then at one point I was like, oh no, this like okay, we'll continue on the story, and then we both had this one defining moment where we realized
when we realized what it was about.
Yeah, what the symbol was, because we were just like, what's going on?
So it's like the sort of there's sort of two halves to the film. There's like the whole first half where it seems like kind of normal, but there's like something off, and then there's the other half which is like when it becomes obvious what the film is, and then so it starts off with those images to begin with, and then out of the regenerated house, she wakes up and calls out to him, and then it's like, okay, the normal thing. She's obviously very like clean. She wants everything in its place. She's she likes that, and then he's an artist a poet who's written things in the past that were really good, but he's having writer's block. Yeah. That's literally what's going on screen. But so they've got this sort of life, and then Ed Harris turns up, and he's apparently a doctor, and blah blah blah, and they're having this conversation. She's not quite sure about him, but Javier Bardem just says, "No, you can stay."
Also, can I just interrupt? I don't understand the scene where she keeps drinking. Like
that's one thing I don't quite get. I don't know what that is, but anyway. She has a lot of issues, clearly. Yeah. And then he's much older than she is. Yeah. They're married and all that sort of stuff. And then Ed Harris is asking questions. And then, like, in the middle of the night, she hears Ed Harris, like, yelling and screaming and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then she goes into his bathroom and sees that Javier Bardem's, like, helping him over the toilet. And he covers up his ribs.
Yeah, and he's got, like, a bruise.
He's got, like, a bruise on one side.
Yeah.
And then the next day, while she's like trying to work out what happened, and Ed Harris is like, "Oh, nothing happened."
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm fine.
I'm fine. I slept great." Blah blah blah. And then the doorbell rings, and Michelle Pfeiffer turns up. And it's like, "Oh, this is my wife." Blah blah blah. She was on her way for a while. Blah.
And you see, like, the mother, who's Jennifer Lawrence, go like, "Why did you invite your wife?
Yeah.
Why
didn't you mention your wife?" That sort of stuff.
She's just like she gets like more confused and angry, like every time someone invites someone to her house.
And then she's like, and then she finds out like they had a photo of Javier Bardem in their bag, and she's like, "Why did they have a photo of you?" And she's like, "But they came to see me. They're great admirers of my work and all that sort of stuff." And then he's got this crystal, of course, which regenerated the house in his study, and it's up there. And she keeps telling him, "No, you're not supposed to go up there." He's like, "Oh no, we just want to have a look at it," And then they break it together, and then Javier sends them out of the room, and he boards up the room, and then eventually their two sons turn up, fighting over Ed Harris's will because Ed Harris is apparently dying.
That's when we
worked out what was happening when one of the brothers kills the other one, and then he gets smashed on the head by Javier Bardem. That's when we started to understand what the film was about. Yeah, when we started to understand that Javier Bardem, that Ed Harris was Adam. Pretty much.
And Michelle Pfeiffer
was Eve because of his rib injury, because how woman was created by a rib from a man and all that sort of stuff, and then like the crystal itself was like forbidden fruit. It was the forbidden fruit that they touch, and then he banishes them from his study or the Garden of Eden. And then their sons turn up, and Cain kills Abel, and and then it sort of went on from there, and you sort of start to understand exactly what the film is. And I find it interesting because I was reading today, there's a couple of interpretations of who Jennifer Lawrence is. One of them is the one that
I thought she was
Mother Nature. Yeah, Mother Earth, Gaia, as they call her, or whatever. And, she's trying to maintain everything. Yeah. But she's very fragile, and people just sort of
it's her idea. She's made this world for God, which is
Javier Bardem's character.
Yeah, and, like, she made everything nice. And because they always talk about how she built the house up on her own.
Yeah, she made this. It was great.
She did this, and she's been making the house. So then, like, it's like the idea of God brought people onto Earth all of a sudden, and they've fucked things up for her. And they've gotten, like,
they step all over, and she just keeps giving, that sort of thing.
Because you always see Jennifer Lawrence's character, like, she always cleans up after everyone. She's always the one.
And she's always like, "No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Stop." And everybody's so dismissive of everything. Like in the house, they're like, "Oh, it's really beautiful," and then they just do something and shit on it. They burn themselves, or they break something, or they make a mess, and she has to clean it up. And the other interpretation I've heard as well, which is kind of interesting, is that she's Satan. Oh. And that, like, she basically causes them to go to break the crystal by saying it's forbidden all the time and you can't go up there, and they just get more and more curious, kind of like the snake.
Oh, wow.
And stuff like that. I thought that was an interesting thing as well. Is that she could, and it's like sympathy for the devil. You have sympathy for her, but that's the trap.
Wow.
Like, that was an interesting thing as well.
Now I'm like conflicted. I have to watch.
Because she is also the end of the world at the end of the film. If you look at
it
like that, so it's.
But then, the way I was thinking about it was like it's kind of like at one point, obviously I think this film like supersedes where we are in like reality. So it's like the film is like saying if you keep doing
further,
you keep doing this is how society will break down, life will break down.
I thought it was interesting that the thing that ends the film looked very much like a mushroom cloud. It was like an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
And that she does it with oil.
Yeah.
So it's
very symbolic, all of it. But
but it was. There's a point in the film where it just goes nuts. So it's like the brother passes away. The brother gets killed. And
all these people come in to kind of mourn his death.
And more in town.
Yeah, and then like they break. So there's this bench that she keeps telling people to get off, and then these people sit on it and they says get off, and they sit back on and then get off and spin it. And at one point they go, look, it's fine. They start jumping on it,
and then
it just breaks, and all this water goes everywhere. She starts screaming, and she goes, get out! Jennifer Lawrence is literally screaming. I couldn't I was surprised. I'm like, oh my god. She's like, I wouldn't be surprised like she bruised a rib or ripped her diaphragm open.
But, and then, it's a flood.
Yeah, there's a flood.
Which is another Bible story.
So it's kind of like Noah's Ark.
And then they all leave, and there's a brief moment of peace. There's some peace in the house.
Yeah, and they have sex, and it's...
Yes, and then she knows that she's pregnant.
With Jesus.
And, yes, that's the prince, the promised baby sort of thing. And then it's after that it starts getting really...
Yeah. So intense. He literally, they have sex, and literally the next morning she wakes up and she's like, "I'm pregnant."
Yeah.
He goes crazy, and our intern is like, "What?"
That's how it works.
Yeah. Mary ain't a virgin. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. Not in this movie.
No. So then he starts just grabbing a pen and paper and starts writing like crazy.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's got inspiration.
Yeah. And it jumps like maybe 8 months ahead, and she's like
and she's
out to here.
heavily pregnant.
She's heavily pregnant. She's got all the baby room.
He gives her his final work,
and
which we are to assume is the Bible.
Yeah. And he's like, this is, the Old Testament. The New Testament happens after Jesus.
Yeah. And she reads it. We never see it, obviously, because it's not real in this film. It's just it's symbolic. She reads it and she cries pretty much. And then
she makes
a really nice dinner.
Yeah, she sets herself up.
And people just start turning up.
And it's bizarre. And this is where the film just goes, okay, if you haven't caught on yet, this ain't real.
This is where it goes nuts.
Yeah.
But it starts off like his publicist there,
who
is played by Kristen Wiig, funnily enough. And her credit is the Herald, the Messenger.
Aries is there.
Yeah.
Oh, every time. Yeah. Oh,
that's what he's
every
doing.
Time.
He's just there.
Hello.
He's not coming in. But she's the Herald, the Messenger. But it starts off with like pretty much almost like a book signing. They're signing.
Yeah.
They want him to sign things, and then it's like, then people just start stealing shit in the house. It's like,
but this doesn't...
I need something of his. I need something of his,
like, the thing is, can I just say, in between all that happening, people are just getting into... Like, she tries to lock herself in the bathroom, and people go into the bathroom, and she's like, how did you get in here?
Yeah.
And it doesn't... And the house almost seems warped, like a maze.
Yeah. So this
where the more she looks, the more rooms they appear.
The thing that is fascinating about this part of the film is it's like watching a nightmare, because you never can pinpoint the moment where things are changing.
Yeah.
But they're changed.
Yeah, because remember I was telling you, like, you know how in dreams, and if you're walking through, let's say you're walking through a house, like, everything seems changing and you don't really
realise it.
Yeah, and you don't understand.
Happened.
And then, like, I remember I had a dream about, like, my old home, and, like, I remember, I walked into the living room, and then I walked in the kitchen, and then I kept walking, and there was more rooms, and I'm thinking to myself, why is there so many rooms? And also this warped sense of time, because time seems to pass, and
it's very accelerated, right?
Yeah. And like, if you don't mind me just continuing on from when you left off.
Yeah.
So like, all these people coming in, and like, it just gets crazy, because all of a sudden, like, she's trying to call the police, and then like this lady hangs up her phone for her, and then takes the phone and rips off the wall, and she's like, I think the most terrifying thing out of the whole aspect is the fact that she goes into labor.
Yeah, she's going
and she's
labor.
Heavily pregnant, and like people are stepping on her, and like she's in pain, and honestly, like, watching it is like watching someone's nightmare, because you watch someone run through all these rooms, and then people just get more rowdy and violent and crazy,
and then weird scenarios start playing themselves.
Yeah, like.
like things that seem like they'd happen in real life or have happened in history and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, people. She's like going through, and there's like suddenly a bit that's like caged off, and there's just people like caged behind it, and there's like people patrolling it, like they're captured them, and then there's a riot that happens in like the living room with like riot police and like a.
And then like a police guy like helps her up and tries to get her safety, and he gets like killed. And
no, that's like a soldier.
Yeah,
it's like a war happening. A bomb goes off, and then he gets shot in the face, and he gets killed. And then Javier Bardem finds her and grabs her and takes her. And then there's like, and stuff like he's like with his fans at the start. He's like talking to a bunch of them, and he's just got like something on his hand, and he touches one of them, and then it's like leaves a mark on their head.
Yeah,
and then they all want it. They all want the mark on their head. And then it's like that mark you start seeing more often because it's like, oh, it's like that's what he did.
Like, I guess it's like that's supposed to be like the sign of the cross or something
it's like a
that.
sign, you know, it's a sign that you're blessed or whatever. And then
and then
it's like cults start to form in the house, like it's all factioned and then there's like
it's kind of like
and everything.
I imagine that's how like religion starts though, you know, it starts off as one thing and then obviously
because very
because then no one's going to see eye to eye, so then it obviously breaks off into different religions, and I guess that's how other religions were made, because you know, if you think of like Catholic, Christian, Jewish, like they're all kind of factions of the same.
Lots of them are bastardized off of each other.
Yeah, because I can't remember the difference between Christian and Catholic. I don't even know if they're...
No, they're Christian religions, but they're like different ways. Like there's Protestants and all sorts. It's so...
Yeah, and you think of like...
But it gets like... gets really intense, and then it's like, okay, there's like a bunch of them that like form a unit on top of the staircase just outside of his study that's boarded up, and then they manage to pull her up and put her up there with him. Yeah, and then there's like everybody else is downstairs. Yeah, and like
there's also like the publicist like Kristen Wiig.
Yeah,
she like
she's like a whole room where she's like
executing people,
cut people with like bags on their head, and she's just shooting them.
Yeah,
and executing them because they're sending the wrong message or something.
Yeah,
like, you know.
So weird.
And then Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem end up on the top.
Yeah.
Where and he breaks into his old room so she can deliver the baby. And his old room's covered in pictures of him, like the little, like semi-religious looking portrait that almost look like something you'd find in a prayer thing, like a candle or anything like that of Virgin Mary or something like that. But it's like him, like his publicity shot or something.
And then everyone goes really quiet.
And then there's no noise.
Yeah.
And she has the baby, and then she's like, can you just make them leave?
Yeah.
Like, no, they want to see. They want to see him.
And like it's like she won't let them because she knows they're going to kill them. He'll kill him. And it's a baby boy.
And it's a baby boy. Yeah. And then, and this was apparent. That's apparently the part. The next bit is apparently the part that people walked out of the cinema afterwards. Oh. And I can see it's pretty like it's pretty horrifying. Gruesome. It's pretty bad, but she falls asleep for like a second, and he picks him up and he takes him out, and then there's a huge roar of like people going, there it is, and then he just gives the baby to the people, and they're carrying it away, and she's chasing it, and then you just hear a crack,
the baby's neck,
and then
she's like scrambling through all these people. Like this is such a terrifying scene for me and I think this is like the climax. I mean, the whole film is pretty like horrifying, but this is like
just keeps.
This
is
like
where a snowball
this is
control.
Like this is the very pinnacle of like the film. And there's I'm not sure how many horror like / nightmares you've ever had, but like I've had nightmares where I'm like you're like pushing through people, you're trying to get somewhere and you can't get there because it doesn't seem that far when you initially see, but then the way she's like pushing through people, it feels like she's doing it for ages and ages. She's like she can't reach that place. And
then
she
kind of has been for ages. Pushing through people.
Yeah, but like I used to have nightmares. Like I know this is like the stupidest thing. I feel like I'm like the craziest person in the world, but like I have nightmares about like having to be somewhere and not being able to get there. Because I think there was one part of the film where she wants to leave the house and she can't seem to leave because everyone keeps pushing. I've had nightmares about that. Like I've had nightmares where I said to someone, I'll meet you at 3, and then I'll like go about the rest of my dream, and then I'll see the clock and it'll be 2:54, and I'll be like, oh my god, and I'll try it, and then it seems like everyone's trying to stop me from getting there. So that's what it feels like to me. Like she's like scrambling through all this crowd of people She gets to the very front. There's one man standing in front of this altar. She pushes the man aside.
And he's got the black mark on his head, like everybody else.
And there's the carcass of her baby, all hacked up.
And she looks around like there's people just eating it.
Yeah, and
bits of it.
And the guy says something like, "Oh, you know."
He says exactly what Javier Bardem says at one of the brothers' funerals.
Yeah.
At the start, he says, "Oh, you know, can't you hear his voice?"
Oh,
that
yeah.
All that sort of stuff, you know.
And then everyone's like crying.
Everybody's crying,
eating.
but eating him, which is, you know, the blood and body of Christ.
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, please take this bread. This is my body.
Yeah.
Please drink this wine. This is my blood."
Yeah.
I went to a Christian school. If that helps.
But yeah,
I'm not just studying Bibles.
That thing that happens, and then she goes a bit nuts. I was reading today, and I didn't realize while watching the film that she picks up some glass and she just starts she kills like 5 people.
Yeah.
And when she does that, every time she does it, there's a crack of thunder. Apparently.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I didn't realize, and
I assume that scene's not on YouTube. So.
No, that kind of spoils the whole film as well. Like, it's kind of building to this part.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want it to just be spoiled on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then they basically grab her and like beat the shit out of her.
They start calling her like a whore, and all it, and that scene is like the very to me, it was more disturbing than that baby being eaten,
because I think as well. The way that they do it. Yeah,
like they're like ripping at her. They're not just like in some scenes like they're kicking her, but you don't really see too much. Your camera
right there.
Is right facing her, and you can just see all these hands and feet like kicking at her and clawing. Oh my god, that like to me is the most disturbing part, because it's just up until this point you don't really see too much violence. It's just a lot of you see violence in the background.
It's a lot of implied stuff.
Yeah, so this is like full frontal. She's getting absolutely like they're gonna kill her.
And then he comes in and
like
grabs her.
God comes in and picks her up. She's like, "Oh, they've killed my baby. They've killed the baby. They've killed it." She's hysterical. I was hysterical on the inside. I was like, "Oh my god!"
So she runs and grabs Adam's.
Well, at one point she
lighter.
She
sees his lighter fall into something
earlier, but she's there at the front of the altar and she's crying. He's holding her, and then he's like, "You've got to forgive him. You've got to forgive him." Because it's the idea of God and Jesus being all forgiving, and He will forgive you. And
it's the sacrifice.
Yeah, it's the sacrifice. And she just says, she starts screaming, she says, "No," and she starts screaming, and then the floor like cracks open. And it's very symbolic, obviously. I'm just hoping, like, no, I can't. Like, and I think it's like the idea of God, like, you can ask for God's forgiveness, but then like Mother Earth may not necessarily forgive you for your sins.
Well, it's like he's obsessed with his creations.
Yeah, God loves you, but Mother Earth don't. Mother Earth will just fuck you up, which is true.
But yeah, she runs into the basement where she's found this
oil furnace. I read it out. I looked it up. It's an oil furnace. Yeah.
Earlier on in the thing, she breaks it open. It leaks everywhere, and he's just like, "No, don't do it." And then she just drops the lighter into it and just blows up the whole thing, including herself. And then you get the image from the start of the film of her face instead of this other woman on fire. Yeah. And then the whole place sort of burns.
Everyone
There's a shot of outside of like this forest going up. Which is why I said it looked like an atomic bomb going off. And
then the final scene is just like him holding her while he's
holding her charred corpse pretty much, but she's still alive. And he's fine. And he doesn't have a scratch on him.
So it's like, God will always be fine, infinite, and forever there. But he's holding her, and she's saying stuff. Oh, she said some stuff during like the entire film where it's like, "You don't love me, you just love the fact that I love you, or you love how much I love you." Which to me was like, "Oh my god, my heart, please don't do this."
Which is funny because then she gives him her heart.
Well, the very end scene is like, "I need one more thing from you," and she's like, "What is it?" And he's like, "I need your love," and she's like, "Go on, take it." And he like rips open her chest, and she passes, and he pulls her heart out.
She kind of turns to ash or something.
Yeah,
then, I think
fades away.
Yeah,
kind of squeezes open the heart, and inside
there's the crystal from the start. Yeah.
Puts the crystal back on the mantelpiece, and
the house
literally
rejuvenates.
The same scene from the start.
And then Tomb Raider wakes up in the bed.
Yeah, well, that's really weird. But yeah, no, the thing is, the very first line that Jennifer Lawrence has is literally, when you call like people by their pet names, it's like baby, and she's like baby, and she's like asking for him, and so when the other woman wakes up, the first thing she says is baby, and she's like looking around, and it's exactly the same scene, exactly the same.
Credits.
And then it just rolls credits, and you're just sitting there like...
What was that?
What? And you're kind of like fucked up. But then, obviously, it's like a film derived from not reality and like more biblical kind of.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And I wasn't expecting what I got pretty much from it.
I'm not gonna lie. I read up on it. I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, you read up on it like while we were in the cinema.
Yeah.
I was just watching it like as it happened, and you were trying to work out what was happening before. And yeah. Because
up until a certain point, I was taking it way too literally.
Yeah. Because I was thinking like about the brother bit. I was going, no, this isn't literal. This is...
Well, that's when I was like, because that's after that when I saw the two brothers, I'm like, okay, I have a feeling it's about God, and like I thought it was going to continue on like. After the flood, that was going to be it, or like I didn't think it was going to end the way it ended. I thought it was going to play more towards the Old Testament. It wasn't going to end like with all the people going crazy. So then I like was like, you know what, I have to know. So I read up, and then when the scene that came up with like the baby and all that, I'm not sure if you remember, but I was like, Ren, no, like no, I can't. You knew it was going to happen. I was like, no, I can't. Oh my god, I can't. To be fair, the cannibalistic scene wasn't as bad. I thought, in my head...
It's not very visually shocking, but just the concept of the whole thing is fucked up.
I thought it was going to be, like, people literally, like, tearing this baby apart and eating it, where it was, like, already hacked up. I'm like, I wanted to see the hacking. Not really, guys. Like, but seriously, I was, like...
You thought that was going to happen.
And and that's when I was terrified. I was like, if I see something like that, I literally can't. But then I just saw like you see it for like maybe a second, like this just this marred baby corpse. You don't even see the face. I think if there was a face in there, that would literally like fuck you up. Like not just a little, but a lot. But there was no face. It was just a lot of body parts. And I was kind of like, oh. And then people ate it so like delicately. They just like it wasn't like people like I thought it was going to be like a zombie movie where they're like
they were like at a funeral, like
that's
why it was
all
so
in
casual.
Black. Yeah,
like, yeah.
But like it's funny because like if you know about the story of Jesus and how he passes and why he passes, I'm not sure if you do know.
Yeah,
but it's like the idea of like he passes away and then people mourn him.
He doesn't just pass away.
Well, he gets nailed to the cross.
Yeah,
and like
stabbed in the side and left there.
Yeah. And then like there's this in the story, it's like the people who killed him afterwards realize he really was, because it's the idea of he wasn't the son of God. Yes. And that's why they kill him. And then afterwards when he dies and
he rises 3 days later.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh my god, he's not. And so they mourn like the fact that they've hurt him. And it's like the idea right after, as they're eating him, they're crying.
Yeah. It's like, no, I forgive you.
Yeah, but it's just like I expected more like
I want to watch this movie again.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say if we watch it again
and read into everything more.
Yeah, but yeah, we were speechless.
I was really surprised at how good it was.
Intern. Sorry, I just dropped the lid of my Coke bottle. Intern.
But yeah, I mean, some people are just really not okay with the film, which is fine. I mean, I get it. I think they're not trying to stop it from getting shown. They're just like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's too much for me.
I think it's too much for just a mainstream viewer.
I mean, especially is it like if you are a religious person and it's like, that's how Jesus comes in and out of a film, is like he's born and then he's like ripped apart by people.
But he is.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, it's so...
Literal?
Literally, like, that's what happens in the film. That's really pretty hardcore stuff.
I personally... I don't know.
I'm not sensitive about it.
No.
But yeah, I get why people are. But yeah, it's... It was certainly more interesting than 90% of the shit I've seen this year, and I'd much rather watch this again than Valerian.
Oh, yeah. Ren, we both agreed we're not going to ever mention Valerian ever again. I mean, like Transformers, we had a lot to say because it was shit, but also like kind of funny shit.
Yeah.
This was just shit. There's nothing to say.
Yeah,
there was nothing specifically bad. It was just overall blur. It was like eating pasta without any sauce. That's what it feels like.
It's very dull.
Yeah, but
you wouldn't talk about it to anybody.
I wouldn't recommend it to anyone unless they were like 10. But I don't know anyone.
I guess you can waste your time. It's fine.
Can I just say, sorry, I know like we're recording. I'm pretty sure Dasha would enjoy this. Like Dasha would enjoy Valerian. Yeah, because she'd be like, the guy's hot.
Is he?
Well, No, because his stepsister's like boy crazy. She's in the midst of puberty.
Oh, okay.
Like every time she watches anything, if there's a hot guy or if there's like a remotely attractive guy, she's like, oh, he's hot. So we were watching like I'm not sure, you probably don't like Oran High School Host Club.
The fuck is that?
It's an anime show. It's like it's got a bunch of animated guys. It's pretty much like a bunch of guys and a girl, and there's no like R-rated stuff going on. It's very PG, but it's kind of like, it plays on more like romantic relationships than like sexualized relationships.
Yeah,
it's for teenage girls.
Yes.
So like every time she was telling me about because she watches anime, and she's just like, oh, I feel like I shouldn't. You have to edit this part out, by the way, because this is like his sister, so I feel like I don't really have the right to talk about her on the air. But pretty much like, what? But pretty much she's like, oh, Linda, do you like this? And I'm like, oh, I've seen it. And she's like, I know, right? Aren't the guys hot? And I'm like, they're animated, but okay, yeah, sure, they're plenty hot, yeah. But I think I was just thinking about it. I was like, you know what? She'd probably love this, or she'd probably think he's so hot, saving the world and shit. I don't know.
He looks anemic. I mean, anyway,
he does have really dark circles, under eye circles. And I thought, why?
Looks like he hasn't slept for months.
Yeah, and I was thinking, why did the makeup artist take it away?
It's funny because he can be good in things, but I think the last couple of things that I've seen him in, he's been terrible. Like Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No.
He was the Green Goblin, and he sucks in it. He's so bad. And this, he's not particularly good. But I like stuff like Place Beyond the Pines.
I don't know.
He's in.
I've seen
that's
him
a
in
pretty good movie as well. It's about... I don't really want to tell you what it's about. You should probably just watch it.
I'm just going to watch it, yeah.
It's good. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much our thoughts on those. So go see Mother. Darren Aronofsky.
Like, we don't... Our explanation doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, you actually have to watch it.
And I mean, I wouldn't say enjoy it. I always say enjoy, but...
I enjoy it from a filmmaking perspective.
Yeah, there we go.
I think it was really well edited in the last half.
Yeah, especially when she was just changing from each environment. Like, you really couldn't tell. Like...
You almost couldn't keep up with it.
No, it was... Like I said, it was literally, like, a literal nightmare.
Interesting as well, like, all of the little characters she meets.
Yeah.
Like, she has, like, one dialogue. So the one guy who tries to chat her up.
Yeah.
It was really gross.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's called, like, the adulterer or something on the thing.
Oh.
And, like, there's all these other... Yeah, there's all these other... They're almost, like, named after sins, half of them. Yeah. It's, like, interesting. The way they do.
I'm surprised they didn't have, like, the horsemen of the apocalypse coming or something like, these horses come into the house. I think that would have been too much.
Yeah, probably too obvious. Too on the nose. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's very worthwhile watching if you're up for that sort of thing.
If
you thought
film,
it wasn't scary,
this is
scary.
This is the type of scary that when you're watching it, you're like, oh, you're horrified, and then you come out and then it like literally scars you. This is the type of scarring film. It's not the type of I'm scared, and then when you watch like let's say, The Uninvited or the Unborn. I think no, it was The Uninvited. It was like when I was like 15, 16, like. All my friends loved watching it. Like, not for the fact that it was, like, a good film.
I bet you they can't remember it now.
I do remember it very well.
No, but I'm saying, I bet you they can't remember it. They were really enthusiastic about it then. And now they're like, what? What movie are you talking about?
Either way, like, I remember, like, almost every time I had a sleepover or something, we'd watch it. And every time I'd just be sitting behind, like, my phone just saying, like, I can't do this right now. This is not one of those films. If you want to be, like... I think those are very adrenaline-based films. Because they're... Like, yeah, they work on adrenaline. And because... The thing with adrenaline is after you get it, it makes you feel really good. Which is why people have adrenaline junkies or people enjoy doing certain things for that factor. And which is the same with films. This is not one of those films. This will not give you an adrenaline. Or it will, but not the same type.
Yeah.
This is the one that's like, like some people...
It'll give you a life-threatening heart problem.
Yeah, this was more like it will give you a heart rush. What's this? Oh, The Uninvited. Yeah, it is the film. Anyways, like this, because I remember after everyone watches like The Uninvited, like after we turn it off, we'd watch something else really silly, and everyone would be laughing, and everyone would be fine. This is the type of film after you watch it, everyone will
You're just like sitting there for a while.
Yeah, you're kind of sitting there.
Think about it for a bit.
I said to Ren, I was like, I have to get out of the cinema like right now. I have to get out right now because if I don't, I'm going to be seriously disturbed. I mean, more so than I already am, but. This is like, I think it's the way I felt after the end of this film was the way I felt at the end of Requiem for a Dream, which was disturbed a bit, like, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm really fucking scared. I'm not scared of like being in the dark, but I'm fucking disturbed by society and everything else.
Oh, it's like it's like proper fears.
Yeah.
Like real life fears. Really,
literal fears rather than like...
things you actually have to like think about in real life where you would...
Things that could actually I mean...
It's not that they could actually happen, but it's like there's something about it that's very...
unsettling.
Like these ancient stories and all that sort of stuff are weaved into it, and it's very much woven into everything else, and you just... Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, Raccoon Dream had me shook.
No, I think it's done that to a lot of people. It's really... It's hard movie to watch.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's a hard film. It's not like most scary films where you watch it, you get scared, and that's it. It's like...
Aronofsky does really well with, like, tragedy.
Yeah.
Like, and Requiem for a Dream's a good example. The Wrestler's a good example.
Yeah.
Like, Mickey Rourke's really
Black
fantastic
Swan
in it. Black Swan's very good. I haven't seen The Fountain.
You said it was really good.
I've heard it. I've heard people have very differing opinions of it. Kind of like this. Like, it's like some people love it, some people hate it.
Oh, yeah. That's my shoulder.
Okay. The only film that people seem to, like, really hate of his is Noah. Because it's supposed to be it's just really bland.
Noah's like a PG film, though.
Yeah.
The one, I think he should...
Like, he did some different things with it.
I haven't seen it because, honestly, like, you know when you watch a trailer of a film and you can already tell straight off the bat it's going to be either very bad or very, very average? I love Emma Watson, don't get me wrong. But I saw the trailer and I'm like, this looks like fucking shit. I ain't wasting my money on this. Like, that's what I felt like with
The only thing I've seen of it, which seems really interesting, is he actually kind of puts evolution into it.
He's a bit obsessed with God, I think.
In like, oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like the Pi, which is his first film, it's a black and white film about a guy obsessed with numbers.
Oh,
It's all to do with like how it could be like it's kind of like, is this like something talking to me, or it's a bit, or is this something else, or is, and then there's like people who are interested in him, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's really good as well, especially considering like first time filmmaker, the sort of thing he made.
I think he should stick to what he knows. I think if he tries to do more stuff like Noah, I'm just gonna punch him in the dick. I'm just gonna be like, can you fucking stop? I liked your really tragic, upsetting films.
Movies.
I liked your depression films. Please stop.
Apparently, this film was originally called Day 6, which is when God created man. On the 6th day. So it's an interesting one as well. He apparently wrote the first draft of the script in 5 days.
Oh.
Yeah.
I liked Mother. Or I would have possibly called it maybe something like, I don't know, it would be something like Gaia or a Mother. A Mother's
it's almost too obvious though, then.
I know, a Mother's very ambiguous.
I like the posters though they've got. Have you seen like the one with her holding her heart?
Yeah.
In her hand?
I like the one where she's just got like, I like a lot of them are just her face, really.
There's another one of Javier Bardem. He's sitting down. He's like got an orb in his hand and everything's on fire. Which is another good one as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else would I've called this film.
I think either Day 6 or Mother sounds pretty good.
Yeah, they were really good. I'm just trying to think of something, if I can think of something better. I know I probably can't, but... Father.
Jesus.
Imagine. Westboro Baptist Church. No. That would have been so fun. I would have laughed at that, though.
Yeah. So... Yeah.
Day 6 would have been a good time.
A good one as well.
Day 6 would have changed the way I looked at the film, though.
Yeah.
Because if you say Day 6, it makes me think of, like... Who's the guy who did Chappie and...
what's his name? Blomkamp.
Yeah, it would make me think of something like that. I don't know why.
I don't even know.
Day 6 seemed too, like...
District 9.
District, yeah. I was like, District 9. Yeah. Well, that's what Day 6 makes me think of. District 9 kind of, like, stuff.
Day 6 in District 9.
Was Mother... I don't know if it's because I've seen the film now, but Mother makes me think of, like, a horror film.
Yeah, it sounds more...
Because, like, I think there was...
That's probably why he changed it.
Yeah, because Day 6 seemed too, like, structured. Mother seems more...
Names it after his lead character.
Yeah, Mother.
Yeah. Well, it's the best acting I've seen Jennifer Lawrence do. I don't like her that much.
I don't mind her. I liked her in Hunger Games.
She's okay. I don't really like her in Hunger Games. I thought she was good in Silver Linings Playbook, but she was kind of playing herself.
I don't understand Silver Linings Playbook. I
don't think it's a fantastic film.
Okay, can I just say, I don't know. Okay, the thing is, I grew up with
it's just kind of an above average rom-com. Really?
Well, that's the thing. I grew up with people recommending all these films. Like, someone recommended to me, Is that your girlfriend? Oh my god, it totally is! Wait, what is she
Continue.
saying?
Nothing. Shut up.
Oh. What? Fucking intern. We pay him too much. You should tell her to come. We can all do a podcast together. Oh my god.
Continue. What are you saying?
No, I'm just... What did she say? Look, sorry. I feel
We're going to bring this to a...
No, okay, no. So, what was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, no. Okay, so I had, like, people in my life recommend me films, like Silver Linings Playbook. People recommend to me. People also recommended Boy in Striped Pajamas.
Yep. Sucks.
I remember all these people talking about it. What was the other film that a lot of people recommended to me?
Vampire Academy?
No, it wasn't Vampire.
Okja.
No, Okja I just watched on my own accord.
Yeah, so did I. I didn't like it.
It was okay. I mean, I don't hate it, but it was okay. I can't remember, but there were a lot of other films, especially a lot of rom-coms. Oh, She's Just Not That Into You, I remember.
Okay.
Was recommended to me. So, but then every time I watch them, I'm really disappointed. And I'm thinking, so I used to think to myself, I'm missing something right now. Like, obviously, a part of my brain was not wired correctly. And then, like, when I actually met, like, other people who watched, like, filmmakers and, you know, people who study film, and I said, I really did like this film. And people were like, thank you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, good. Batman and Robin.
Oh my god.
I remember, not someone didn't recommend it to me, but I remember I watched Batman Returns. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just go on a Batman watching spree. Texting your girlfriend.
Shut up. Keep talking.
So he's so embarrassed. It's so cute. Oh, God. So how come you never text me? You know, you see, like, on my phone, there's, like, a whole paragraph of me saying things and then just nothing. What's this? You good boyfriend. How about you? Yeah. Boy in Striped Pajamas was this huge disappointment. Like, literally one of the biggest disappointments.
Everybody loved that movie, and I don't know why.
Yeah! Thank you! I
was
don't...
like, how does he get away from the guards every day? Tell me that.
Well, the thing I just didn't like was there was no real, like...
Not a German
build-up.
accent in the movie.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of...
I was going, why is everybody British? This is
Yeah,
stupid.
I was going to say, there's so many British people. I'm like... I thought... So, to a point where I thought that they were all British and they had just moved to Germany.
And become Nazis.
I don't know.
We must fight our own country.
Well, the thing is, I watched it on a plane back from... I remember very specific. I was 15. I had gone to Japan on, like, a trip with, you know, the school. And I was on my way back and I was watching it. Because everyone was talking about it. I'm thinking to myself, because the way all my classmates talked about it was like, oh, such a heartbreaking film. My teacher, I remember at the time, was talking about it, saying how like devastating and how sad. And, like, everyone was saying how they cried at the end.
People don't know shit. That's comfortable heartbreaking in a movie.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this, and I'm thinking, oh my god, am I gonna be really sad? Watch it, finishes it. Like, do you know, Ran? I'm kind of ashamed to say it. No, I'm not. But I watched, like, I think the first... How long is the film? Like, 2 hours?
It's probably a couple of hours.
2 hours. I think I watched, like, the first 45 minutes. Forwarded 30 minutes because I got really bored in between. Watched the last... Because I'm thinking to myself, when is this going to start building to the end? When is
something happen?
Yeah, when is something going to happen? Because all I see right now is these two kids just interacting, and it's like, oh, it's kind of, you know...
You're supposed to mark up the tragedy of it all. You know, he's outside the fence, and he's... German.
Anyways.
And the one inside.
And then, like, and then I just scroll to the, like, then 45 minutes in, and then, like, 30 minutes later, and then I watch, like, the last maybe 30 minutes, and I'm just kind of, and then, you know, they get gassed and they die, and the mum's, like, screaming, and I was just like, and then I'm thinking, oh, is that it? And I'm trying to be like, am I a cold-hearted bitch for not crying? Oh my god, what happens if I'm a psychopath?
And you're just like, I don't care.
Well, that's the thing, I didn't care. And then, like,
I should make you watch Come and See, which is a Russian movie.
No, it's gonna Devo.
Yeah, that's really...
It's Devo.
That's really hard to watch. That's, you know, just about a kid who lived in, like, really poor Belarus, like, neighborhood, which is, like, it looks medieval when you're there, because they were so devastated.
Poor.
And then, like, the Germans invade, and then he leaves to go and like fight with the partisan troops because he wants to be, you know, a little hero and all sorts of stuff. Meets this girl. They accidentally like leave the partisans, like get lost for a while.
Yeah.
Then they circle back to his village. He goes and he's like, "Why isn't there anybody here?"
Oh no, I remember you telling me about
and
this.
It's just like
and then
he's just like,
bodies.
"Oh, he doesn't feel good about they've run away." And then she's like, she looks back and you see all the corpses like piled up against the back of the shed. And then there's like burnt guys, and then there's like a whole sequence that goes for like 20 minutes at the end where like the Germans like hurdle the Russians into this barn. It's like, oh, you know, if you want to live, climb out the window. And he climbs out the window and a couple of others, and then they just start throwing grenades in and then shooting it. Yeah.
That's
it's really
horrible.
confronting.
Yeah, well, part of me is just confused because I'm like, if you want full-blown confronting or something like that, you should watch... That's another film.
That's another film that feels like a dream. When you're watching it, like a bad dream.
So then when people are saying, oh, we cried at the end of Boy in Striped Pajamas, I'm like, that's not even sad. Like, I feel really bad for the...
even write it.
Like, yeah, but like, I mean, like, the Holocaust was a very devastating situation, and I don't deny that ever. But I'm like, that film probably does not do it justice.
It doesn't mean that every film made about it is any good.
Yeah. Like, it just wasn't... It wasn't emotionally pulling enough for me. And like, what other... I mean, I cried at Marley and Me, but... I have a thing.
You can relate to that.
I have a thing with dogs passing. Okay, so there's this Japanese. It's also an English film, but I watched the Japanese. Yeah, and Kenji watched it with me, and halfway there I was like, like I was like, not just like little tears, like ugly crying. Do you know to a point when you cry to a point you're like you that was me.
Kenji's just there.
I've actually never cried like. Not even in real life. I've never cried so hard as I did watching that film. And it wasn't even the first time I cried even harder. That was the second I was watching it. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, I just help this dog. Like, I get so emotional thinking about it too.
I've only seen the American version, which I
the American version's good. Like, it's very heart-pulling. But, oh my God, the Japanese version is like full-blown Devo. It's like you...
It's just Devo.
It is, like, because in the American version, like, the Hachiko, like, runs off back to the station, and he's still waiting for his owner. In the Japanese version, like, the dog kind of goes through some multiple owners, and they all kick him out, and then he gets, like, chased down by all these wild dogs, and, like, injured, and no one, like, in the American, I think they kind of tone it down so that people don't report animal abuse. But in the Japanese version, like, no one cares for him, no one tries to look out for him. You feel so bad for the dog, because he's, like, the dog... If the dog was a person, is like the loneliest little thing in the world. And it broke my heart. I was just like, oh my God, I hope his final days weren't actually like this. I think they put it in for a little bit more drama. But like, I was just like, I was like, ugh. You don't understand, Red. Every time I watch it, I just cry. Like, it's just like rain on my face. Because it's so, and that's with anytime I see an animal, you know that, what was that, that old school, like, film where it's, like, the two dogs and the cat get lost and they have to find, like, their way back home.
I haven't got a clue.
It is a film. Oh, with Strawberry, what was that one? It was, like, not Water Downs or Strawberry, the rabbit.
Yeah, I know.
That film is fucked up, too. Like, I was like,
that's pretty horrible.
You know, during Easter last year, they played it on television for kids.
Really?
Watership Downs.
Watership Downs, yeah.
No, I remember I read an article about it.
Why would you play that for kids?
That's the thing.
It's like, it's got rabbits in it. Fuck it.
Well, yeah, literally. I don't think whoever put it on realised, because there was an article I read about it. I didn't even know, like...
That's like, Christmas is coming around. Let's play Animal Farm.
It's in a stable. It's fine.
It's not a stable where communism happens. It's perfect. It's cheerful.
But no, I was reading it because I was scrolling through, and it was Easter, and I saw, and then the article was pretty much like film plays Watership Downs traumatizes kids.
Traumatizes children.
Literally traumatizes children. Yeah. And I was like, what?
They're doing another adaptation of that now.
I hope not a real life one. That would traumatize.
Like a animated film.
I haven't seen. I honestly haven't seen. I've only heard about it, and I know pretty much what happens. But
I think I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah, I've seen Animal Farm. Animal Farm
probably
was
when I was a child. And I was
Animal Farm. I didn't know about. I didn't even know about George Orwell until I saw Animal Farm, and then that's what got me interested in other stuff.
That's almost like his kid's book, but it's
not.
It's not. It's nothing he wrote was like
but it's
nothing he wrote was like light.
Yeah.
Light reading or anything.
It's all very...
It's all really...
Political?
Hard. No, not just... It's like... It's about people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's like... 1984 is like the big thing that everybody knows, which is, you know, what happens if you're stuck in a society which is has complete control over
North
you,
Korea.
Yeah, North Korea, Soviet Union for a while.
Oh god, yeah.
You know, Germany in the 30s.
No, but they played Watership Down like right in the middle of like primetime kids television as like an Easter special.
Oh dear.
And you're like, oh, it's like coming up next, Watership Down, and
dead,
obviously
bleeding rabbits.
And obviously not every parent would have known about the film because
I think it would have. Some parents would have gone, "Oh, I watched this when I was whatever."
Yeah, but like
it's good. But you know, kids these days are weak.
Censorship triggered. But yeah, like obviously, apparently, like parents were horrified because they're like,
parents should just grow up.
Yeah, but like. It's one of those things I'm like, I would want my kid to watch it, but I probably wouldn't want my kid to watch it until they were at least like 10.
Yeah, that's plus. Fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember I was talking to someone about, I'm not sure if it was you, if it was about censorship. But it's like, some things I understand in censoring, like...
I understand not having things around kids.
Yeah, like...
I just don't understand about, like, not having things, like, I think
I said to one of my friends, I'm like, oh, look, if my kids saw, like, nudity, I would be okay with it. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, well, wouldn't you think they'd be traumatized?
Depends on what context and what it is.
Yeah. Well, I said, like, if my kids saw a sex scene, I'd just be like, oh, that's what people do.
That's
like,
how you got here.
Yeah, that's how you got it. Because my mum was always, like, with me. She's always... Because whenever, let's say, like... My grandma used to cover my eyes whenever there were people kissing. And my mum was like, wait, if you cover her eyes and you teach her this is bad, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you teach her, yeah, but you teach her that it's bad. Like, then she's going to grow up thinking it's bad. And I don't want my daughter thinking that. So I'm kind of going to, like, in my mind, I'm like, look, I'm probably not going to let my child watch violent things or extremely graphic things. But, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is a naughty word, you're not allowed to listen to it. Or, oh no, this is the human body, you're not allowed to see it. Like, I'm not going to be like that. So
call yourself up.
Yeah. Like, up to your neck, up to all the way down. 40-degree weather in Australia, just full blown. You know, head to toe.
You see your ankles, you whore.
Yeah, I know. You can't. Like, it's not going to be
She's
like...
She's quoting Mother.
Yeah.
There's literally some lines in Mother.
You look so traumatized.
I'm so upset.
It's okay.
He's so upset.
He's a bit confused. Yeah, like, I'd swear in front of my kid. Actually, you know how many times I've been told off because I've been in front of, like, a toddler or something, and I'm like, fuck! And then I'm like, and then like, one of my friends, if we're all, like, let's say it's my friend's, like, cousin or, like, baby niece and nephew. I'd be like, oh, shit. And they'll be like, Linda. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I mean, fuck. And I just end up swearing more. And I'm just like, far out. No.
I supplement that so whenever I'm around kids, I just don't like myself.
And oh no, I'm like, I think when I was younger, like when I was in high school, people's parents used to not like me. I wonder why. But I'd swear, I'd be so like open with my swearing because in my head, I'm just like, it's just a word. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not.
Well, you're not. No.
No, and like, and I've always been against censorship because I believe I've always, even from like when I was like 13, 14, I just believe that when you, not that.
Always believing.
Like they're making like, I don't know what this is.
Oh, you don't?
Well,
you don't know what happens.
I know what this is.
Oh, really?
Anyway.
They do that to cows.
Yeah, to feel around for the car. Yeah. Anyways.
Take that, Superman.
But I always just thought when I was younger, because I was like, why do people censor? Because I get confused when people censor things. It's like, I'm not. I'll be like, I know I'm 14, but it's not like I don't know what a penis looks like. I have internet.
It's always the fact that they're always just like, oh, well, we censored this thing. It's like, oh, what was it? Well, it was this, and then they have to describe what it was so that they can censor it, and then everybody goes to look for the uncensored thing. Yeah. So they're barking up the wrong tree.
I know. It's just like, whenever someone's like, oh, we just don't want to subject kids to this, and I'm like, oh,
that's in terms of the censorship, in terms of like, supposedly by protecting children from horrible things, when really they're just regulating what adults are allowed to do.
Yeah.
Because It's like
I don't
saying
believe
that's
it.
like saying kids shouldn't watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Can I just say, up until a certain point, even if because someone said to me, what happens if your kid's like traumatized by like some naked person, and I'm like, or like people having sex, and I'm like, look, I'm pretty sure a 3-year-old toddler's not going to know what sex is, even if they were looking at two people having sex. Because I remember I watched Titanic, and like, you know that scene where like Jack and Rose are like in the, I did not know I literally didn't know what that was. I was like, and then
I was like, I used to watch James Bond a lot when I was a kid. I didn't know what happened after they stopped kissing. Because, I mean, they never show you anything else. It always cuts away.
Can I just say?
It's like, so Sean Connery would get a woman in a room, he'd kiss her, and then for a bit, and then he'd say some sort of suave move, and then it'd just, like, pan out the window.
Yeah.
It's like, what happens?
Do you know what happened? They're like...
Suddenly they're asleep the next morning. What?
No, you'll see them, like, kissing, and they'll pan towards the bed, and then they're like, but why aren't they? Oh, okay. But
it's like at the end of the film, like they're on like a life raft somewhere, and it's like, well, you know, and then he starts making out, and then there's like a big sweeping distance shot of a helicopter coming over, like 007. Yeah.
That was it. That's the sex. That's the sex scene. Oh god, censor that. Oh god. No, but can I just say, after like, you know, when you first learn about what sex is, and you're like 8, 9-ish. I don't know how old you were, but I was around 8, 9 because
I feel like it was earlier than 8, 9.
I think I learned about sex after watching The Simpsons because I was like, "What's Homer and Marge doing every night?"
They're making Maggie.
Making pancakes. Making pancakes. No, and then this is really embarrassing. I can't believe I'm saying this in public or out loud.
Okay.
But up until I was legitimately 13 years old, and I discovered what fanfiction.net was.
Oh, great.
I thought sex was
a great way.
I literally thought sex was two people getting naked and just hugging. Like, that's what I thought.
You're not completely wrong about that.
But, like, that's what I thought it was. I never thought that there was something that went into something else or two things that came together or whichever, like, whatever, you know, you're into. I didn't even think there were different... I didn't even think there were different types of sex. I just thought, yeah, two people get naked and hug a lot.
I was like Dylan Moran's thing, you know.
Well,
people always talk about casual sex because it's never casual. You always have to turn up. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like that one.
Yeah, but like, I was so embarrassed because then like it wasn't through fan fiction. Can I just say it
wasn't the fan fiction that taught you, was it? Or it was?
Actually, you know what? Fanfiction.net taught me more about sex than like my sex ed class. No, because in sex ed, all they do is they take out 3 years in a row. Take out a tampon. This is a tampon. Take out a pad.
They didn't even do that with us.
I don't think you needed a tampon in.
Oh, so you're saying there was a ladies' version?
Yeah.
Was there?
They didn't even take...
We never got split up.
Oh, really?
No.
We got... Oh, I went to a co-ed, but not co-ed school, if that makes sense. Like a recently co-ed, and then they kept us separate between years 5. Apparently the important years, they kept us apart until like we were like 8. Until we were literally until we were like 17, we were not allowed to have same gender. Like,
I thought you meant to say have sex with each other.
Well, we weren't technically, but that didn't stop people. But yeah, like in our classes, they would make us make diagrams of like vaginas out of like plasticine or something like that. Or they made us do. They made people.
What's wrong with your school?
Do you know once we
just watched a video about it.
Oh, we also watched a video, but we never really talked about sex. We just talked about. We didn't even talk about the genitalia.
We had a lot of different... I had one in primary school in like grade 6.
I didn't have one in primary school.
Then there was one in year 7 or 8 that they did, and then there was one in like year 11 or 12. And
you did one in year 11 and 12. Did people not know what sex was in year 11 and 12?
We were sitting there going... And it was really funny because like everybody's making porno jokes all the way through it. And including the woman giving the presentation.
It was a woman?
I guess she was really funny actually because she talked about like previous schools she'd been in.
Can I just say we had like a sex ed class with like a guy science teacher.
Okay.
And we were an all girls class.
Okay.
And it just got weird. It just got very weird. But
he was sweating.
No, but it was Mr. Bradley. Kenji knows because he went to
I haven't
sex.
got a clue. I didn't go to the same school.
No, I know, right? It was so awkward. He because we did bio and stuff together as well. He was
biology.
But no, he was full like he's like a dead like one of the teachers who could just keep a straight face. And
that's probably why they got him to do it.
Yeah, well, that's probably why.
It's like you won't let them
but
get him find it interesting.
I remember very specifically like this was back when not before Mr. Bradley. They got us to do like penises and vaginas had a plasticine, like, and we had tour groups during that time of the year for like potential students in the future, and a tour came in.
Okay.
As you're making plasticine dicks.
Yep.
And everyone had to just kind of be like,
hey!
You're literally like waving around.
What's up, bro?
But that's all we did. But we never learnt about, we always learnt about ourselves. We never learnt really about like, you know, honestly, like they never really spoke about sex at all. It was like sex didn't exist. They only talk about sex. They would just be like, oh, you know.
Our school got the lecture, I think, because there'd been too many pregnancies. But
it was like, don't have sex when you're standing up. Just don't do it, because you will get pregnant and die. Anyways, I think it's time to wrap up.
Yes, it is. We will finish this there, here.
Yeah. Anyways, let's finish it here.
Leave that there. Okay.
Ciao.
That was good fun.